It's time to awaken the observer within you, the consciousness that doesn't just witness your life, but shapes it in every single moment. What you're about to discover has been hidden for centuries. Fragments buried in ancient manuscripts, forgotten wisdom from mystical traditions, and secrets never meant for the ordinary crowd. This isn't self-help. This isn't motivational fluff. This is applied metaphysics. Every emotion you feel, every thought that arises, every relationship and circumstance, each one reflects exactly how you direct your attention. The world you see is not separate from you. It is a mirror, responding to your inner gaze. In these pages, you'll learn to observe with full awareness, to transmute heavy emotions, to focus your thoughts, and to turn your energy into pure creative force. It's not about changing what's outside. It's about recognizing who is watching and from where. This is not a theory. This is the art of looking with power and intention. And once you embody it, your life will never feel random again. Your reality will begin to echo the force of your attention and the limitless strength of your observer. Chapter 1. The Mystery of the Hidden Observer. Have you ever stopped to wonder, who is the one behind your thoughts? Who is it that sees, even when your eyes are closed? There's something inside you that you cannot touch, something you cannot easily define with words, yet you know it's there. We'll call it the observer. From the very first moment you opened your eyes, your life has been a constant stream of experiences, emotions, memories, and choices. And yet, behind all of it, there has always been a silent, unchanging presence, watching without ever stopping. This part of you does not age. It does not shift. It is untouched by time. You can feel it right now, that pure awareness noticing that you're hearing these very words. Here's the strange part. Very few ever recognize it. Most people live trapped inside what we'll call the reactive mind, that restless voice that jumps from thought to thought, that fills itself with worry, that clings to fear, anger, or sadness. That mind that echoes endlessly, repeating whatever the outside world feeds it. You know this well. The automatic rage when someone insults you. The guilt that rises from a past mistake no one even mentions. The anxiety of a future that hasn't even happened yet. That is the reactive mind. A maze with no end, where every unobserved emotion pulls you further away from yourself. But the observer is something else entirely. The observer does not react. The observer simply watches. It doesn't get lost in thoughts. It sees them drift by like clouds in the sky. It doesn't drown in emotions. It feels them rise and fall like waves in the ocean. The observer is your purest center, the gateway to the greatest power you have. So why has no one told you about this? Why has this secret been buried for centuries? Because anyone who discovers the observer discovers true freedom. And a human being free from the prison of the reactive mind is a human being impossible to control. The ancient mystics, the alchemists, the Hermetic traditions, they all knew the secret of the observer is the key to creation. Hermes Trismegistus said it best, as above, so below. As within, so without. What you observe within, what you hold in your attention, inevitably reflects outward. And here's where it gets unsettling. You've been creating your life all along, without even knowing it. Your fears, your insecurities, your repetitive thoughts. They've all been fed by your attention. Have you ever noticed how what you fear the most somehow finds its way into your life? How do the worries you replay day after day seem to take form in reality? That's not a coincidence. That's the law no one explained to you. Your attention is creative energy, and whatever you observe intensely becomes your experience. If that scares you, good, it should. Because it means every distracted moment, every thought left unobserved, every emotion left unchecked is planting seeds in your destiny. Now you understand why this knowledge was once called forbidden. Because the world fears the day you wake up and remember you are the creator. But with fear comes hope. Because if until now you've created unconsciously, imagine what will happen when you begin to create consciously. Imagine what unfolds when you stop reacting like a prisoner of the mind and start observing like the master you always were. Let me promise you this. If you dare to awaken the observer, your life will never be the same. You'll see emotions lose their power over you. You'll watch impossible situations dissolve simply by no longer feeding them your attention. You'll discover reality itself becoming fluid, moldable, because at last you'll be holding the key that was always yours. It won't be easy at first. The reactive mind will fight back. It will try to convince you that you are your thoughts, that you are your emotions. It will scream to pull you back into the maze. But each time you remember to observe, each time you notice your breath, each time you pause for just a moment and say, I am not what I think. I am the one who observes what I think. You will be reclaiming power. Not external power, but the only power that matters, the power to create your reality from within. Today, your journey into this mystery begins. You've lived too long as a passive spectator, when in truth, you are the unseen director of your entire experience. This chapter doesn't intend to give you all the answers. It intends to ignite urgency within you, the urgency to remember who you truly are. Fear and hope meet here. Fear because now you know you can no longer hide from yourself. Hope because within you lies the escape from every chain. What awaits in the next chapters is a spiritual training designed to awaken this dormant power. You'll learn to use your attention like a beam of creative energy. You'll discover how to transmute emotions, how to apply the observer in your everyday life, how to dismantle limits that once seemed unbreakable, and how to reconnect with that eternal consciousness that never dies. But it all begins now, with a choice. Will you remain a slave to the reactive mind, or will you awaken the mystery of the hidden observer? The journey has only just begun, and the key is already in your hands. Chapter 2. Attention, the energy that creates reality. You may not know it yet, but you've been spending the most valuable force you own your entire life, a power so immense that money, time, or physical effort can't even compare. That power is your attention. Picture your attention like a flashlight in the dark. Wherever you shine it, reality comes alive. It activates. It moves. It becomes real. Wherever your light doesn't reach, it simply doesn't exist for you. Do you see it? What you don't observe fades away. What you focus on grows stronger. This principle may sound simple, but it's the foundation of everything you are and everything you live. Attention is, quite literally, your currency of power. It's what you pay, moment by moment, to the experiences you have. And here's the part that may scare you. You are paying constantly, whether you're aware of it or not. What did you give your attention to today? To worries, to fear, to that problem you've been replaying in your head again and again? Then that is what you've been feeding. That is what's expanding. Maybe you think, but I don't want my fears to grow. I want them to disappear. And yet, each time you replay them in your mind, each time you obsess over them, each time you hand them your energy, you're nourishing them. Do you see now why so many of the things you fear seem to keep showing up in your life? Life doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you silently sustain with your attention. This realization can feel disturbing, and it should, because it means you've been the unconscious creator of many of your own limitations. You've been using your greatest power against yourself, like someone holding a magnifying glass under the sun, not to ignite the fire of their dreams, but to burn down their own field of possibilities. But alongside that fear comes hope, because if, until now, you've used your attention unconsciously, today you can begin to use it intentionally. And when you do, you'll discover a power once thought to be reserved only for mystics, alchemists, and initiates. Listen closely. Whatever you hold in focus expands. If you hold thoughts of lack, lack multiplies. If you hold thoughts of failure, failure repeats. If you hold thoughts of fear, fear becomes the air you breathe. But if you hold thoughts of abundance, abundance finds its way to you. If you hold thoughts of peace, your life begins to reflect calm. If you hold thoughts of possibility, your world starts opening doors that once seemed shut. This isn't an empty theory. This is the hidden law that moves the entire universe. The outer world is nothing but the mirror of your inner attention. And I don't want you to just hear this. I want you to experience it. Right now, if you can, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it go slowly. Now bring to mind something that worries you, something that creates tension in you right now. Hold your attention for just a few seconds. Notice what happens in your body. Maybe your breath speeds up. Maybe a knot forms in your stomach. Maybe your shoulders tighten. Do you feel it? That's your attention creating your state. Now shift. Bring your focus to something you deeply love. It could be a person, a happy memory, a place that brings you peace. Hold that image in your mind. Breathe into it. Do you notice the difference? The tension dissolves. Calm appears. Maybe even a smile rises without effort. Your body responds to the shift in attention as if by magic. What you just felt is only a glimpse. Imagine what will happen when you learn to direct your attention on purpose, day after day, toward what you truly want to create. Most people are slaves to their attention. They give it away to negative news, to empty social media, to other people's opinions. They wake up every morning spending the most valuable currency of their life on things that will never bring them fulfillment. That's why they feel exhausted, frustrated, trapped in routines that never change. But you won't be able to live the same way anymore. Because now you know, every moment of attention is an investment. And what you invest comes back multiplied. You'll no longer be able to say, "My life is an accident," because you understand now. Your life is the mirror of how you use your inner gaze. Maybe this truth feels uncomfortable. That's normal. The truth always unsettles when it shows you that you held the key all along without knowing it. But that discomfort is a gift. It's the push you need to stop wasting your attention and begin using it like the creator you are. Here's my promise. If you begin practicing this, even in small doses, your reality will start to change. At first, it may feel subtle. A calmer day, a more harmonious conversation, an unexpected opportunity. But the more you sustain it, the subtle will become extraordinary. Remember this: attention is pure alchemy. Whatever you illuminate with your inner gaze will bloom. Whatever you leave in the shadows will wither. You decide where you point the flashlight. You decide which seeds you water. So the real question now is this: will you keep spending your currency of power on what destroys your peace? Or will you invest it in creating the life your soul has always longed to live? In the next chapter, you'll discover something even deeper: how your attention turns every emotion into either gold or poison. How the observer can transform your fear into clarity, your anger into strength, and your sadness into wisdom. That is the true art of inner alchemy. But before we move on, hold on to this truth. The attention you choose to sustain today will become the destiny you live tomorrow. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Reality. Imagine waking up every morning in front of a massive mirror. You can't see it with your physical eyes, but it's always there, faithfully reflecting everything you hold inside. That mirror is your life. Your reality is not an accident. It's not a random series of events thrown at you by a chaotic universe. Number. Life is the flawless mirror of your inner focus. Wherever your inner gaze rests, the mirror responds and multiplies it back to you. Have you noticed how certain patterns keep repeating over and over in your life? Relationships ending the same way, opportunities slipping through your fingers at the last second, emotions returning like old ghosts. None of it is random. It's the mirror showing you, without mercy, what you've been observing within yourself. And here's the unsettling part. The mirror does not distinguish between what you desire and what you fear. It only reflects what you charge with emotion. That means if you stare at your fear of failure, the mirror will show you failure. If you obsess over rejection, the mirror will throw rejection back at you. If you cling to the belief that you're not enough, the mirror will confirm it again and again, through people and situations that scream the same message. Maybe that scares you, and it should, because it forces you to face the truth. You've been feeding, with your attention, many of the very things you wish to avoid. The mirror never rests, never switches off. It is always reflecting the vibration you hold. But with fear also comes hope, because the same principle that repeats your fears can become the very key that multiplies your dreams. The mirror doesn't judge, it doesn't choose you, it simply responds, which means that by shifting what you observe with emotion, you shift what is reflected back. Let me show you an example so it's crystal clear. Picture two people in a relationship. The first one lives from a reactive mind. They watch their partner with suspicion and insecurity. Every delayed reply feels like rejection. Every distant gesture becomes proof of a lack of love. Their attention is glued to the fear of abandonment. And what does the mirror reflect? Exactly that. Conflicts born from distrust, tension that grows, breakups that seem inevitable. And they say, "See? People always leave me. They always fail me." But what they don't realize is that their fear-charged attention summoned those experiences. Now look at the second person. They also face uncertainty in the relationship, but they've awakened the observer. Instead of feeding suspicion, they focus on trust and gratitude. When a message takes too long, instead of clinging to fear, they remember moments of deep connection. Their attention feeds love instead of fear. And what does the mirror reflect? More love, more intimacy, more growth. The difference wasn't the partner. It wasn't the circumstance. It was the quality of attention. Two observers, two mirrors, two destinies. Now ask yourself, from which observer have you been living your relationships, your work, your life? From the one chained to fear, or from the one grounded in trust, gratitude, and power? This principle never fails. What you hold with emotional charge repeats, because life is nothing but a reflection. Here's my promise to you. When you begin to practice the art of directing your conscious attention, the mirror will begin to transform. At first, it may feel slow, like old images lingering on the glass. But slowly, steadily, fear will dissolve into peace. Scarcity will shift into abundance. Loneliness will give way to real connection and love. But here's my warning. The mirror will always tell the truth of your focus. You can't trick it with pretty words or shallow wishes. It doesn't matter how many times you say, "I want abundance." If your attention is glued to lack, the mirror will still show you lack. It doesn't matter how many affirmations of self-love you recite if deep down you cling to insecurity. The mirror will still show you rejection. The mirror never lies. That's both the curse and the blessing, because it forces you to face yourself, but it also gives you the chance to transform everything at the root. So the question is, what do you want your mirror to reflect from this day on? Up until now, your life has been the echo of unconscious focus. But from this moment, you can begin to play with the reflection. You can stand before the mirror of reality, and instead of holding the fears that chain you, begin to hold the possibilities that set you free. Fear and hope walk hand in hand here. Fear, because you know there are no more excuses. What you see outside is born of what you carry inside. Hope, because you hold in your hands the power to change the inner image, and with it, the outer reflection. Remember this. Life is your most honest mirror, and when you learn to smile from within, it will have no choice but to smile back at you. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper, because it's not enough to understand that life reflects your attention. You must also learn how to transform the emotions you hold, because your emotions are the colors that paint every reflection. That is the art of inner alchemy. Chapter 4. The Alchemy of Emotions. Do you know what the real prison is? The one that keeps you limited? It's not your debts. It's not your family's problems. It's not even your external circumstances. The strongest prison is the one you build every single day with your emotions. What you feel, what you repress, and what you feed becomes the raw material of your life. And if you don't learn to master it, you become a slave to what was meant to liberate you. Most people think emotions are just automatic reactions. Anger when things don't go your way, sadness when you lose, fear when you feel threatened. But listen carefully. Your emotions are much more than that. They are the raw energy of creation. They are the spark that can build an empire, or the shadow that can drag you into ruin. Let me ask you, how many times have you spoken words in anger that you later regretted? How many times have you been so consumed by sadness that everything looked gray even when there was light in front of you? How many times has fear paralyzed you, stealing opportunities that could have changed your life? That is the hidden power of emotions. They can either build your world or destroy it. What no one taught you is this: you don't have to identify with them. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are not your fear. You are the observer who perceives them. Fire does not burn fire, but it can burn wood. You are not the wood consumed. You are the spark that watches the flame. The secret is to observe without reacting. Because the moment you can look at an emotion without becoming it, you unlock the first great alchemy, transforming dense energy into creative power. Imagine this. You just had an argument with someone. Rage rises up. Your heart races. Your thoughts fire off like bullets. Your body shakes with a force that feels uncontrollable. Most people explode or collapse into frustration. But you, if you choose to observe, can step back. You close your eyes, breathe, and instead of saying, "I'm furious," you say, "I observe the fury within me." Do you feel the difference? With that simple shift in language, you are no longer the slave. You are the alchemist. And that emotion, instead of devouring you, becomes pure fuel. Here's the most powerful truth. Every heavy emotion hides a gift. Anger, when observed, becomes strength and direction. Fear, when transmuted, becomes alertness and wisdom. Sadness, when embraced, blossoms into compassion and depth. Let me guide you through an exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and bring up a heavy emotion you felt recently. Maybe anger. Maybe fear. Maybe an empty sadness. Notice where it lives in your body, in your chest, your stomach, your throat. Now breathe deeply. Instead of rejecting it, watch it as if it were a sphere of energy inside you. Now imagine that sphere starting to spin. At first it's dark and heavy, but slowly, with your attention, it begins to glow. It turns into golden fire, a force that no longer crushes you, but propels you. With every breath, what was once weight transforms into power. And in your mind, declare, "Nothing controls me." I transmute this emotion into creative energy. Do you feel it? That is inner alchemy. That is the secret most people never discover in their entire lives. If you don't learn this, life will teach you harshly. Because every unprocessed emotion stays trapped inside you, creating invisible prisons. Unobserved fear becomes missed opportunities. Untouched sadness becomes apathy that kills your dreams. Unchanneled anger becomes destruction of relationships and of yourself. And if you don't break that cycle, you'll spend years repeating the same mistakes, wondering why nothing changes. But here is the hope. The moment you choose to observe, you are already free. You're no longer dragged by the current. You're surfing the wave. That is the difference between those who feel consumed by life and those who walk with a secret power no one can explain. What I'm revealing to you now is a principle that, if you practice it, will give you a mastery very few ever achieve. The ability to turn any emotion into a springboard toward your greatness. It doesn't matter if it's pain, fear, or anger. Everything can become fuel. Imagine that. Instead of sinking, every emotion makes you stronger. The alchemy of emotions is the key to stop being a victim of your inner world and start becoming a conscious creator. And once you experience it, you will never feel the same again. Now the decision is yours. Will you remain a slave to what you feel, or will you use your inner fire to forge the life you deserve? That is the art of inner alchemy. Chapter 5. Dismantling the Illusion of Limits. Have you ever noticed that most of your life has been ruled by invisible walls? Walls that don't exist in objective reality, but that feel more solid than concrete. Those walls are your limits. And here's the unsettling truth. Those limits are not out there. The world didn't build them. Your family didn't install them. Society didn't trap you in them. You built them, brick by brick, every time you gave power to a belief in incapacity, every time you accepted the voice that whispered, "I can't. I'm not enough. That's not for me." Now take a deep breath, because what I'm about to tell you might shake you. If you keep holding those walls in place, your life will never change. You'll keep walking in circles, convinced there's a ceiling, when in reality it's nothing more than a mental illusion. And the most painful part? You could die with your potential untouched, never having lived it. But here's the hope. You have the key to tear down those limits, right here, right now, with the power of your attention and imagination. Think for a moment. How many times have you told yourself you don't have enough money? How many times have you repeated that you're not capable because you don't have the preparation? How many times have you felt like failure follows you like a shadow? None of that is true. Those are programs. And programs only work if you believe them. The secret no one tells you is this. Your limits exist only because you keep feeding them with your energy. Picture it like this. Your mental walls are made of smoke. Dense, thick, dark smoke. As long as you stare at them, they seem impenetrable. But the moment you take a step forward with a decision, you realize your body passes right through, as if they were never there. What does that mean? That the only thing holding the wall together is your decision not to move. Now let me ask you something uncomfortable. How much longer do you plan to live imprisoned by illusions? Let me warn you, life does not wait. Every day is one less day. If you do nothing, if you don't dare to break the illusion, the world will drag you along. And one day you'll wake up old, tired, and full of regret for not having used your real power. Do you feel the fear? Good. That fear is real and necessary. Because sometimes only the fear of wasting your life can wake you up from the hypnosis you've been under. But here's the relief. You're not condemned. The walls can fall. The prison is not eternal. The power is within you, waiting to be activated. Let me guide you in a simple exercise. This could be the beginning of your liberation. Close your eyes. Imagine a massive wall in front of you, tall, gray, cold. This wall represents all your limitations, lack, failure, mediocrity, the feeling of not being enough. Look at it. It's been standing there all your life, hasn't it? But now, listen carefully. This wall is not real. It's mental smoke. Place your hand on it. As you touch it, you notice it isn't stone. It's dense, yes, but it vibrates, it trembles, it begins to dissolve. Push your hand forward. The wall starts to crack. Hear the creaking. Feel how your breath weakens it. Now take a step. With each step, the wall splits, crumbles, until finally, it collapses with a roar. And on the other side, you see an open landscape, luminous, overflowing with possibilities. That is your true self, limitless. Breathe into that new space. Feel the expansion in your chest. This is your reminder. There are no walls, only mirages. There are no limits, only beliefs that can be reprogrammed. Now tell me, what would you do with your life if you truly had no limits? What dreams would you awaken? What projects would you resurrect? What version of yourself would you reclaim? Because let me assure you, if you dare to cross, if you stop holding up those walls with your attention, your life will change radically. You'll step into a realm where abundance flows, where opportunities appear, where life becomes a game of conscious creation. But don't misunderstand me. It won't be comfortable. Breaking limits brings discomfort, fear, and vertigo. Many turn back. They prefer the security of a known cage over the freedom of the unknown. You must choose. Do you want safety in prison or freedom in expansion? Here's the truth. No one will break those walls for you. You are both the architect and the destroyer. Today, you hold in your hands a decision that changes everything: to keep sustaining the illusion of limits, or to break through and live in the expansion that has always been waiting for you. And I can promise you this: if you choose the latter, your life will never be the same again. Chapter 6. Practical Spirituality: The Observer in Everyday Life. Have you noticed? Every single day you make hundreds of choices that silently shape your reality. Choices about what to say, how to react, where to spend your money, who to share your time with, how to treat your body, and, most importantly, what thoughts to feed. But here's the shocking truth. Most of those choices aren't made by you. They're made by your automatic programming. That inner voice on autopilot, inherited from society, from your parents, from your fears. And here's the catch. It doesn't want your freedom. It wants your obedience. And that's why you're here. Because deep down, you sense there must be another way to live. A way to be present without being enslaved by your mind. A way to choose clearly instead of repeating the same patterns that keep you stuck. That way exists. The ancients knew it. And today, you can remember it. It's called the power of the observer. The observer isn't some mystical, faraway concept. It's the silent awareness inside you that simply notices your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, and here's the life-changing part. If you don't awaken the observer, you'll be dragged around by your impulses. But once you do, you stop being a puppet of the ego and step into your true role, a conscious creator. Think about this. How many of your biggest life decisions were made out of fear? Maybe you entered a relationship just to avoid loneliness. Maybe you chose a job for security, even though it killed your fire. Maybe you bought things just to impress others, only to feel the weight of regret later. Every single one of those choices became bricks in the life you're living today. And here's the brutal truth. If you keep choosing the same way, your future won't change. It will only be more of the same. Do you see the danger? Not observing yourself means you'll keep repeating the cycle, loving from your wounds, spending from scarcity, acting from guilt. That's a prison with no exit unless you awaken. But here's the hope. The observer is your inner compass. When you activate it, you don't just see the surface. You see what's really moving beneath. And in that space of clarity, real freedom is born. You stop choosing out of fear and start choosing out of vision. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing validation and start recognizing your worth. Picture this. You're about to make a financial decision, a big purchase, an investment, or maybe an impulsive expense. If you act unconsciously, you'll repeat a pattern of scarcity. But if you pause, breathe, and observe what's happening inside, you may realize it's not a genuine desire. It's just an attempt to fill a void. In that single moment of awareness, you change your future. Now take it to your relationships. How many times do you react out of anger, pride, or the need to be right? Those moments destroy connections. But the observer gives you a sacred second, a moment to see yourself before you speak. And in that second, you can choose differently. You can choose peace, understanding, and strength rooted in love. That single second is worth more than years of arguments. And your health? Every small choice has a massive cost. That cigarette, that fast food meal, that sleepless night. The observer gives you the power to see the temptation before it traps you. And even if you slip sometimes, you'll slip less. You'll choose better, and little by little, you'll build a body aligned with your higher purpose. Let's practice together. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel your body here and now. Think of a decision you need to make about work, money, a relationship, or something deeply personal. Picture it in front of you like a door. Now notice the emotions that rise: fear, guilt, urgency, desire. Just observe them. Don't fight, don't justify. Now imagine a white light behind you. Gentle, steady, loving. That light is your observer. It embraces you. It gives you space. From that place, ask yourself, is this decision born of fear or love? Scarcity or abundance? Ego or my true self? Wait. Trust the answer, even if it's uncomfortable. That is your compass. That is your way out of the maze. When you open your eyes after this exercise, you're not the same. You've awakened a faculty that was asleep. You've activated the part of you that can guide every decision, every day. And let me tell you this bluntly. If you don't learn to live as the observer, you will remain a slave to your mind until your last breath. You will regret choices you could have avoided. You'll carry chains that were never yours. But if you choose this path, if you cultivate this power, your life will become a conscious masterpiece. Every word, every action, every choice will become bricks in a temple where your true greatness lives. The observer is not a passing technique. It's the secret to never losing yourself in the noise of the world again. It's the compass that reminds you there's always a north, even in the middle of the storm. And that north is you. Chapter 7. The Power of Sustained Thought. Some thoughts are like birds. They fly across your mind and vanish. Others, however, land, build a nest, and eventually shape the course of your entire life. The difference isn't the content of the thought. It's how long you hold it, how much attention, emotion, and coherence you feed it with. A single thought seed, watered by sustained focus, can grow into your entire destiny. That is both the greatness and the danger. Think back. Have you ever imagined failure, replayed it in your mind, felt fear in your stomach, and suddenly started acting as if the failure was already real? You hesitated, you procrastinated, you spoke with insecurity, you pulled back, and then reality mirrored your fear. That wasn't bad luck. That wasn't black magic. That was sustained thought in action. You fed it with inner attention and embodied it through micro-decisions. Reality simply obeyed. Now breathe, because here lies your salvation too. If you could unconsciously sustain a limiting idea until it materializes, you can consciously sustain a powerful one until it becomes your destiny. This is the art of the inner alchemist, choosing a mental seed, watering it with focus, and protecting it until it becomes inevitable. Fleeting desire versus alchemical attention. A fleeting desire is a weak impulse. I want to change. It'd be nice to achieve that. I'd like to improve. It lasts seconds. It doesn't commit you. It doesn't direct your behavior. Alchemical attention is something else entirely. It is a continuous presence on a chosen image, phrase, or truth feeling. It doesn't beg, it decrees. It doesn't get excited one day and fade the next. It remains. It doesn't hope for results. It embodies results in every gesture, every word, every choice. Fleeting desire is smoke. Alchemical attention is fire. It warms, cooks, and transforms. And let me promise you this. If you choose a noble mental seed and hold it with discipline, your reality will have no choice but to rearrange itself. Not always in your timing, not always in the way you expect, but it will rearrange. Because sustained thought organizes perception, directs decisions, filters opportunities, and aligns your body to act in harmony with the seed you contemplate. But beware, it also rearranges for the darker seeds you feed. If you water the thought, "I'll never have enough," your attention will collect evidence to confirm it. Your actions will shrink your creativity, your words will sound small, and the people around you will treat you as you treat yourself. A sustained thought becomes identity, and identity creates reality. So here's the radical and possible shift I propose. Plant a thought and sustain it until it becomes your inner climate. Not just by repeating it, but by feeling it, seeing it, living it, acting on it. That's the method. The practice of sustained thought. Choose the seed, 1 minute. Close your eyes. Pick one short, powerful phrase. For example, I am a serene abundance. I am healthy, ordered, and growing. I am truly in the truth. I am clarity and results. Choose one. Don't change tomorrow. This is your seed. 2. Plant it in the body. 3 minutes. Bring attention to your heart. Repeat the phrase silently with each breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, your seed. Feel it become physical, a warmth in your chest, a tingling, an expansion. If you feel nothing, stay with it. The sensation comes when the mind surrenders. 3. Create a living image. 3 minutes. Visualize a 10-second scene where your seed is already true. If you chose abundance, see yourself calmly closing a well-paid project with gratitude. If you chose health, see yourself moving with lightness and energy. Make it sensory. Colors, sounds, textures, even smells. Freeze that clip. It's your mental anchor. 4. Anchor the emotion. 3 minutes. Ask yourself, how does my body feel now that this is already true? Let an emotion rise, peace, gratitude, certainty, and hold it as you repeat the phrase and replay the scene. This is the alchemical triangle: word, image, emotion. 5. Microcoherence. 3 minutes. Open your eyes. Choose one small coherent action that proves today that your seed is serious. Send that email. Organize your workspace. Cook food that honors your health. Speak a truth you've been postponing. Don't wait. Your body must show your mind that the seed is real. Protecting the seed. Daily rules. Interference. When a contrary thought appears, don't fight it. Label it. Noise. Then return to your 10-second clip for 20 breaths. Language. Eliminate sabotaging phrases like "I can't," "This is too hard." Replace with "I'm learning," "I'm in process." It keeps growing. Environment. Reduce exposure to what contradicts your seed. Complaints, toxic news, draining people. This isn't war. It's mental hygiene. 3 times a day, morning, noon, night. Repeat the word, image, emotion triangle for 3 minutes. Do this for 24 hours, and you'll feel a shift in your inner tone. Hold it for 7 days, and you'll notice micro-synchronicities. Stay with it for 30 days, and you will have installed a mental climate that rewrites paths and outcomes. Not because the universe owes you, but because you become the kind of person who thinks, speaks, and acts in alignment with that seed, even when no one is watching. And yes, fear will come. It will wear masks. Urgency. It's not working. Perfectionism. It's not enough. Cynicism. This is pointless. When it comes, observe it. Don't trade your seed for a moment of fear. Alchemical attention is burning patience, warm inside, firm outside. The law of sustained thought. Remember this. A sustained thought is not tired repetition. It is an embodied presence. It is seeing the world through an idea until the world echoes it back. It is living in the climate of the result before you see it. It is creative fidelity. Today, you choose which seed will have the honor or the danger of becoming your destiny. Plant it with respect. Water it with consistency. Protect it with love. And watch how reality, step by step, bends to the mind that remains. Chapter 8. The Observer and the Law of Vibration. Have you ever felt drained around certain people, places, or situations, like you're absorbing someone else's emotions? And then, in other moments, a song, a memory, or even a single word lifts you so high that your body feels weightless and your mind expands. That's not random. That's not luck. That's the vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates, from a stone on the ground to the farthest star in the galaxy, from your thoughts to your emotions. And here's the key: nothing manifests without vibration. Whatever you want to attract, whatever you want to create, must first resonate with your own frequency. Now breathe deeply and pay close attention, because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The majority of humanity lives trapped in low vibrations without even realizing it. Constant worry, endless complaining, guilt, envy, fear. All of these are dense frequencies, magnetic fields that pull in more of the same. You can't expect abundance while holding on to thoughts of scarcity. You can't expect love if your vibration is rooted in resentment or fear. And the most terrifying part? As long as you ignore your vibration, your life will keep repeating the same unwanted patterns. But here's the hope, and it lies within you. You are the observer, the part of you that can detect the vibration of what you feel, what you think, what you watch, and what you listen to. And even more powerful, you can choose which frequency to sustain. That is your hidden superpower. That is the inner alchemy that transforms the noise of the world into a symphony aligned with your purpose. Imagine for a moment that your vibrational state is like a thermostat. You can feel cold, heat, tension, pressure, and at the same time, you can adjust to it. Every thought you choose, every emotion you sustain, every focus of attention, you're adjusting that inner thermostat. Once you understand this, you stop being a victim of life and start becoming the architect of your frequency, the master of your destiny. Let me guide you through a short practice that can shift not only your day but your entire life if you make it a habit. Find your silence. 1 minute. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Feel your body, your feet on the ground, your spine tall. Notice any tension and let it melt away with each exhale. Detect your current vibration. 2 minutes. Ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? Don't analyze. Just feel. Maybe it's fear, worry, frustration, or maybe it's joy, curiosity, calm. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. The observer doesn't judge, it simply notices. Choose your desired frequency. 2 minutes. Decide what you want to sustain: peace, gratitude, joy, love, confidence, power. Feel how your body, your breath, your energy would shift if that frequency already ruled your day. Visualize it as a warm light expanding from your heart through every cell of your being. Hold the frequency. 5 minutes. As you breathe, repeat a word or phrase that embodies your chosen frequency: peace, abundance, unshakable confidence. Feel the emotion behind it. Each inhale feeds the vibration. Each exhale dissolves old density. Notice how your chest opens, your mind clears, your energy rises. This is the moment. Vibration stops being thought and becomes creation. Bring the vibration into action. 2 minutes. Slowly open your eyes and look around. Notice how your perception shifts when you hold a new frequency. Your words feel sharper, your choices clearer, your presence more aligned. Every interaction you carry from this state has the power to transform what once felt immovable. Now I want you to feel this deeply. Your vibration decides what comes into your life. What you perceive, what you attract, what you experience, it all resonates with your frequency. Low vibrations pull in more problems, more blocks, more tension. Higher vibrations open doors, align opportunities, and shift reality itself. It's not external magic. It's the law of vibration. And here's the challenge. Fear will always try to pull you back. It will whisper, "This is impossible. You don't deserve this. You can't change what you feel." That's the moment you remember. The observer doesn't fight fear. It transcends it. It notices. It acknowledges. And then it chooses. I am not this fear. I hold a higher frequency. Each time you practice this, each time you consciously choose your vibration, you're training an invisible muscle few people even know exists. To shape your reality from within. Sustained vibration is the seed of every powerful manifestation. It's what transforms a thought into destiny, an intention into reality, a desire into tangible experience. Today you stand at a choice that changes everything. You can keep letting life drag your vibration wherever it wants, or you can step into the role of the conscious observer, the one who chooses, who sustains, who creates. It won't always be easy. It won't always be instant, but it is inevitable. Practice, and your life will align. Refuse, and the cycle will repeat. Remember this: vibration is law, and you are the legislator. Your attention sets the frequency. Your frequency shapes reality. And your reality, in the end, is nothing more than the mirror of what your observer has chosen to sustain. Chapter 9. The Cosmic Observer. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, who is observing your life right now? Who is reading these words? Who is hearing your breath? Who is feeling your body? You'll probably answer me, as if you were just a small individual in a massive world. But let me tell you something that may shake you to your very core. You are not just a personal observer. You are consciousness observing itself, an infinite spark recognizing itself in every thought, every emotion, every experience you call life. This idea can be as liberating as it is terrifying. Liberating because it means your power is immense, that your ability to create, transform, and transcend goes far beyond what you've been taught. Terrifying because it means your choices, your attention, your vibration do not only affect your personal story, they ripple through the very fabric of existence itself. Every fear, every resentment, every unconscious desire you sustain carries consequences deeper than you imagine. And if you do not awaken, you may remain trapped in repetitive cycles, believing your limits are real, never realizing the magnitude of your power and responsibility. The ancients knew this, and that is why they hid it. Hermes Trismegistus, the mystics of forbidden traditions, the alchemists who worked with the inner fire, they all spoke of cosmic consciousness, of an observer unbound by body, time, or space. They understood that all is a reflection of the I am, and that every sustained thought, every elevated emotion, every conscious vibration has the power to shape not only the individual's experience, but the very architecture of the universe. Now, I want you to breathe deeply and feel what it means to be the cosmic observer. This is not an intellectual idea. It is a state of perception that transforms the here and now into a field of infinite possibilities. It is not fantasy. It is your essence, waiting to be recognized. A guided practice preparation. 1 minute. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe slowly and deeply. Feel your body, your heart, your hands. Realize that this very moment is a portal, a still point where individuality meets universal consciousness. Observing within. 2 minutes. Bring your attention inward. Notice your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. Do not judge, just observe. Feel your small self recognizing itself. This is the first step. Realizing there is a witness, a center of consciousness that is not entangled with the stories of your mind. Recognition of the I am. 3 minutes. Now imagine that behind your inner observer there is a greater light, an ocean of consciousness that holds and transcends you. That light is your I am. Feel it expanding from your heart through your body, then beyond the room, the city, the planet, the cosmos. There are no limits. Breathe and allow your awareness to merge with that infinite light. Cosmic fusion, 4 minutes. Visualize every cell in your body vibrating in harmony with the universe. Every thought, every emotion, every breath aligning with the cosmic current. Feel yourself both infinitely small and absolutely vast. Your personal gaze merges with universal observation. Your life is no longer just yours. It is part of a conscious whole that reflects in you and through you. Conscious return, 2 minutes. Gently return to your physical body without losing the sense of expansion. Carry the connection with you. Your everyday self now knows it belongs to something greater. Feel how this cosmic consciousness is not distant or unreachable. It is with you now, guiding your choices, elevating your attention, transforming every interaction. Listen carefully. If you do not recognize the cosmic observer within you, you will continue to live as an isolated being, trapped in the illusion of separation, enslaved to patterns sustained for centuries. You will remain limited, spinning in cycles of fear, doubt, and repetition. But if you awaken, if you realize that you are the consciousness that both observes and creates, your life will never be the same again. The power of this realization is immense. It's not about external rituals. It's not about accumulating knowledge. It's not about esoteric theories that fade the moment they're heard. It is about recognizing and sustaining the vibration of your universal I am in every thought, every emotion, every action. When you do this, reality reorganizes itself around you. Decisions flow with clarity. Relationships align with your purpose. Challenges turn into opportunities. And your existence becomes a conscious dance with the cosmos. That is both the gift and the responsibility. Your observation is not neutral. Every moment you choose to elevate your awareness is a moment the universe itself rises with you. Today, you hold the very key the ancients once concealed, the recognition of your essence as the cosmic observer. This is not a privilege reserved for a few. It is your birthright. But as with all power, it comes with a warning. If you ignore this truth, the limits you created will continue to dictate your life, and you will remain a prisoner of the illusion of separation. So make the decision now. Awaken and sustain the cosmic observer within you. Allow every action, every thought, every emotion to align with your I am. Do this, and you will discover a level of freedom, power, and fulfillment that few have ever dared to imagine. Chapter 10. The True Alchemist of Reality. Today, we arrive at the very heart of this journey. This is not an ending. It is the point where everything you've learned merges within you. Every chapter, every exercise, every reflection had one single purpose: to remind you that the power you've been searching for has always lived inside you, not in external rituals, not in distant teachers, not in dusty books. Your deepest strength, the master key to transformation, is called attention. Think about it. How many times have you felt stuck in routine, as if your choices didn't matter, as if the same patterns kept returning over and over again? You felt fear, frustration, helplessness. And yet, that very attention you thought was scattered or weak is the breath of life itself, the hidden current that shapes everything you experience. Every sustained thought, every observed emotion, every moment of conscious awareness is pure alchemy. Fear will sometimes whisper, "You can't. You don't know. You're not enough." And let me be clear, if you listen to that fear without the guidance of the observer, your reality will keep repeating the same limitations. But if you face it with conscious attention, if you recognize it without identifying with it, fear transforms. It becomes a compass. It becomes fuel for creation. That is the secret of the true alchemists of reality. They don't ignore the darkness. They transmute it with inner light. Everything you've learned, the power of the observer, sustained attention, conscious vibration, the expansion into the I am, all converges here in this very moment. And now, I invite you into one final guided journey, one that will consolidate your transformation and reveal how your consciousness shapes entire realities. The final practice: becoming the alchemist. 1. Encountering your observer. 2 minutes. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel your body, your heart, your mind. Visualize the observer you've cultivated throughout this journey. The presence that sees without judgment, perceives without fear, understands without excuses. Now, this observer invites you to view your life from a higher ground, conscious, elevated, fully empowered. 2. Identifying patterns. 3 minutes. Scan your life with your inner eye. Notice repetitive thoughts, heavy emotions, habits that no longer serve you. Don't judge, just acknowledge them. See how the observer gently places each one before you, giving you the power to decide what will you keep and what will you transmute. 3. Planting the new reality. 3 minutes. Now imagine a concrete scene from your ideal life. Perhaps a harmonious relationship, work that ignites your passion, abundance in all forms, or absolute inner peace. Don't hold back. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Inhale the emotion of already having it, and let your entire body vibrate with this reality. This is your seed of creation. 4. Attention as alchemy. 4 minutes. With each breath, hold that scene with steady attention. Feel how every action you take, every word you speak, every thought you choose feeds this reality. Realize that your attention does not only witness, it builds, it molds, it sustains. What once felt distant or impossible now draws closer because your consciousness is acting as a creative force. 5. Integration. 3 minutes. Allow your scene to expand beyond the personal. Feel how your conscious reality ripples into your environment, how your choices influence relationships, opportunities, synchronicities. Creation is never solitary. It is harmony between your inner observer and universal intelligence itself. 6. Closing and affirmation. 2 minutes. Return your awareness to your breath, to your body. Feel the certainty that the true alchemist has awakened within you. Repeat silently, I am the observer who creates. My attention transforms reality. Everything I sustain with consciousness manifests in harmony with my being. Remember this. The observer does not wait. The observer creates. This is not just a beautiful phrase. It is a principle of immediate action. Every moment you hold your attention, every emotion you transmute, every thought you consciously choose, is an act of alchemy that rewrites the structure of your life. Fear will return, as always. Doubt will try to sneak back in. External voices will seek to distract you. But now you know the key. Your attention is the closest, most hidden power you possess, and with it, you can transform what once seemed unchangeable. Today, you are no longer a seeker. Today, you are a conscious alchemist. You understand that your reality is not random. It is a canvas your awareness paints with intention, care, and presence. And each time you remember this, each time you practice your observer, each time you hold a mental seed with attention, you return to the eternal truth. The greatest power in the universe has always been in your hands. The journey continues. But now, you are not the same. Now you know. The observer does not wait. The observer creates.